Welcome to the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I am your host, founder, and executive director of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. If you give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, keep in touch. We have hit 200 episodes on our way to 300 for 2025. That includes in-studio episodes as well as remote episodes too. So we are going to continue with a very important guest that we've had on in the past, and I am not going to take any more time up because there's so much information that we want to share. But before I do that, just remember that anything that you hear, see, is information that we're sharing. So you make the decision off of that information, that we're not judging anybody. We want to uplift people, even if it looks like individuals may potentially be in the wrong. So we want to mention that as well. So David Solomon, he's joining us today for this episode. And thank you for joining us on all the episodes you've been with us and being so candid about such a delicate topic. So David Solomon, would you like to lead us in prayer as we get started?
Yes, sir. Dear Lord, these are difficult topics and difficult subjects. And I just want to thank God for these subjects being addressed and for us having a voice for those that have been silenced or those that can't speak out right now. And I also want to thank you for those that are coming out and having the strength to speak out, Lord. Thank you for letting us be here and try to guide us in this. Let your will be done. Protect those who are in danger from this, Lord. And let your light and your truth shine, and let truth be revealed today, Lord. And give us strength and encouragement in your name. Amen.
Amen. Yeah. Maybe you just want to continue from where we left off and really talk about. We're going to touch on some of the biblical aspects because we are looking to uplift and Realm and Realm Makers is purported to be founded in a biblical Christian manner, and so we feel it's important to share that aspect. So take it away, David.
Absolutely. I think that there's a lot of controversy over this, and I want to dive deep into that. Realm Makers gets its origins from a group called Holy Worlds, which was a place for Christian writers to gather and kind of an elite, if you will, where multi-million-dollar authors mentor minor children and children of all ages up to 20. And Realm Makers became this big thing. But its leadership under Scott Miner, actually it boggles the mind. It's for Christian writers, and Scott Miner has not written anything, nor does he read Christian fantasy. So my first question to him that I would like him to address is, why are you leading a group and the big CEO and you don't know the first thing about Christian fantasy? Christian fantasy is a subgenre that was created by C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien. And then it was reinvented by Ted Decker, Brian Davis, Frank Peretti, Wayne Thomas Beck, Christopher Hopper, Brock Eastman, and over the years, Morgan Buse, and so many more greats out there that created the genre to be more. Wing Feather Saga is another good one, and these stories inspire faith, but they're fantasy, and you can create Christian aspects or a Christian message, not a come to Jesus moment, but a moment that reflects your faith and reflects you want someone to be led to Christ through these fantasy worlds or realms, if you will. It's an excellent way to be a missionary on a battlefield of people that don't know God. However, just like anywhere else, there are bad apples. And so we're going to address that.
Can I jump in real quick about the founder?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as Dave was mentioning, so kind of what the public sees for Realm and Realm Makers as the founder, the CEO, the person at the top that claims credit for that is Scott Miner. However, we have uncovered evidence of the opposite. So we asked a program, you may know it, ChatGPT, did Becky Miner, is she related to Realm Makers? How is she related? And trying to find, because we're looking for, again, facts to bring to the table, whatever way they take us. So that prompt was entered into ChatGPT, and it says, yes, Becky Miner is the founder and CEO of Realm Makers, an organization established in 2012 to support Christian writers and artists who create science fiction and fantasy. She continues to lead the organization, which offers an annual writers' conference, awards, among others. And so, again, that's also a lie with some of the actually a lot of the communications that we've seen, audio, video, conversations, sources that show that, this person's really leading it. So we call that the bait and switch. And then the bait and switch also, as we continue, a bait and switch is offering one thing and coming with another. So let's say you're in the market for a Tesla, and there's a certain model number that you're interested in, and you see an advertisement that you can get this particular Tesla for this much per month. And so you show up to a Tesla dealership looking for that particular Tesla. Come to find out that they really don't sell Teslas. The name says Tesla, but they don't sell Teslas. They sell Honda Civics and Accords. So that is what we're talking about with a bait and switch. And that happens with these conferences, which one's coming up in July in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We'll let you make the decision about that. But we have uncovered evidence and photos of Terry, who's that individual? Terry Brooks. A picture of Terry, and I'm going to try to find it as I'm talking. There's just so much information to get to. But Terry Brooks is a secular speaker, so not on Christian, which is okay. We're not here to go down that road. But what we are saying is, we talk about the bait and switch with the Tesla, and that Tesla's not being at the dealership. Well, how about if you spend $1,000, $2,000 for a hotel, flights, parking, for a conference registration, thinking it's going to be, like David mentioned, about Christian fantasy, that those are the speakers that are going to be there. So you're under the pretense that that's how things are going to be. And you show up, and then there's a secular speaker, which doesn't always agree with the Christian side. And so, again, these conferences come up, and again, there's a huge one in July coming up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we just want to share this information so you have all that information going into those decision makings, because I don't like a bait and switch. David doesn't like a bait and switch, and I believe you, whether you're here in Northeast Ohio, the United States, or across the world, where a lot of people, apparently in a great way, are picking this up. I believe they don't like a bait and switch. And so I'll let David continue while I search for that picture of Terry Brooks with Brian Davis. So we're starting to see those linkages, right? So we're talking about individuals as individuals, and then we're tying these together of how does this relate to Realm and Realm Makers. And so that's why I wanted to mention that Becky Miner is the founder and CEO of Realm Makers. And so if you start out with a lie like that, even though it's the same family and it's his wife, it's still a lie. So that's also a bait and switch. You can continue, David.
Oh, thank you. And we want to address those concerns today. And this isn't about putting anyone down. This isn't about vendetta. This is about exposing the truth and letting you make the decision. And Mr. Miner, he doesn't want you knowing this. And parents and people that are listening to this from Realm, and honestly, Scott, who I know will hear this, the truth is going to come out. So brace yourself in the next 5 minutes.
So right here, I found the picture. So we have Terry Brooks here in a post on Brian Davis author's account. So he's posting it with Terry Brooks. It says, "Me with author Terry Brooks." So again, this is proof. It's coming straight from an account, and I wanted to share that. And while I'm on the topic of pictures, we have a nice one here also under the Realm Makers bookstore account, where we have a picture with Scott Miner all the way here on the left, and in the middle, Brian Davis. And so to David's point, one of his points of how people are linked together, where Scott says, I don't know Brian, and Brian says, I'm not a part of Realm Makers, that is obviously something that is untrue, because I'll say last but not least, on the Realm Makers account in June 13th of 2020, so we're talking about that's been a few years, but this isn't ancient information. And Realm Makers, so they posted it, says, "Teens, we still have a program for you at Realm Makers 2020. While our original teen track instructor had to bow out for personal reasons, we are excited to welcome back best-selling author Brian Davis. He'll be showing teens how to really dig into their manuscript and bring it up to par in the editing stage. Teens interested in publishing will not want to miss this opportunity." So we get to the bait and switch here, right? "If you haven't reserved your spot in our unique virtual conference experience, register today." So what's the bait and switch? Well, here's Brian Davis, says he's not a part of Realm Makers, doesn't know anything about it, and here's plain as day, hashtag Realm Makers 2020, teen track with a nice beautiful photo of Brian, and it says, "The Phoenix Solution, self-editing to resurrect your manuscript from the ashes." So we're starting to see how these pieces are coming together. You can continue. Sorry for cutting in, David.
Oh, no, you're good. And Scott Miner, listen, me and Scott, we didn't have any problem. In fact, Scott and I were kind of just, subtle friends. I have a lot of relationships on Realm even now. with people who know I've come forward. And we were having this big moment. My 9-year-old he was having a book come out. And so I went to Scott because a parent came forward and said that Brian Davis was private messaging their child. And then we were getting harassed. And I went to Scott because I thought I could trust him, and I had made this great group of Christian writers that were trying to make a difference in the industry. And then Scott, instead of saying thank you for bringing it to my attention, said, I don't believe you. It wasn't, well, let me see. It was, I don't believe you. So he made my wife and me surrender evidence and demanded evidence of everything on Brian Davis so that he could make the determination if I'm a liar,
Right.
and if he should destroy my son's career and mine, let alone my wife's at the time. And he created a hate group. Do we have that?
That's actually one thing I don't have printed out, but we'll have
It's on TikTok.
Yeah, it's on TikTok, so you can see on
Yeah.
Voices for Voices.
So we know that he created a hate group. The 4 individuals, Gabriel Blur, I believe her name was Emily, Sophia Hansen, and Scott Miner, are the 4 individuals that were in it. And the job was to keep in the shadows, don't tell anybody, and list when you met David Solomon and his wife or his son, and present evidence of either his trafficking or possibly him as a trafficker, and surrender it to Scott Miner. Now, Scott Miner doesn't want you knowing about this because it was done in the shadows. This is an organization that claims that it has no secrets, yet it creates a group in the shadows, doesn't want to even talk to the direct, which was me or my wife, demanded information through social media, and called other people on the phone that knew us and demanded to know how many people I told that Brian Davis trafficked me or other victims. This is the leader who is in charge of protecting your children on Realm.
And also, I'll jump in while we're talking about minors, not Scott Miner. We're talking about minors, people that are not legally an adult. And so, again, we have some more information. One is a picture from the Bolivar Church of God, February 21st, 2021. And there's a picture of Brian Davis at a booth. Here it looks like selling books. That we don't draw issue with that. But the individual who he is getting a photo with is Nick Battaglia, which is a minor. And so this individual, not only did he get a picture, because people get pictures with lots of people and may not know, but somebody who is an adult, like Brian Davis in that instance, should have an idea of how that looks to the optics, right? So, and so there's a post along with that picture. Bolivar Church of God, church family. Most of you have seen Nick Battaglia, has been a fixture from California on our online services. And it goes on to talk a little bit about some health challenges. But at the very bottom, it says, a picture of Nick with his favorite author. And so, again, a picture is a picture, but we also have uncovered evidence that Brian was in a chat with Nick. And so when we look at trying to protect our children, really everybody, adults and children, that can be a hard pill really to swallow. As a parent, did Nick's parents know that there was this linkage? And it's just very interesting. Let's call it interesting. So you have that, as well as we talk about. I just want to throw out real quick. So we're talking about, Brian Davis says, "Oh, these are unfounded claims." What David is coming out and accusations and harassment. So we went to another source, ChatGPT, because actually Brian Davis has accused David of being a human trafficker. And again, we're not using human trafficking in a light sense. We know it's heavy, we know it's serious, and that's a big reason why we feel we want to just bring the information out. So ChatGPT, and actually was entered asking if David is a human trafficker. And it comes back and actually says, David Solomon, our guest, right, along with Cindy Dyke, Saber, and Amanda Solomon, his wife, have publicly accused Brian Davis of involvement in human trafficking. So it's not just David, it's not just his wife, there are others, and I think it's a good time just to, as far as current event-wise, the Diddy list has just dropped actually last night, the night before this episode is being filmed, and there are interesting individuals on that list, and so go ahead if you want to check that out after you watch and listen to this episode, and all other over 200 episodes at this point. So there's a person, right, that we both know, very popular, that actually shares the same name as me, Justin. We'll leave it at that. Has come out and publicly talks about him being potentially trafficked, and I guess there's different names on the Diddy list that might be included with Realm and Realm Makers. So we just want to throw that information out because that's, again, that information literally just dropped as I came into the studio. So I wanted to share that, and I really want to get to, before we run out of time, is there's an individual named Von Ullman, which may be familiar with, and so we're going to really bring it like this. And so we say, well, who's Von Ullman? Okay, so this is a Christian sourced article, which has also been on the Daily Mail and Yahoo News. So again, this isn't something that we wrote or we asked somebody to write. This is information. And what it is straight up from the article, getting them married, selling virgin daughters. And the principles, so we on our site use the word betrothal to refer to the entire set of principles which differ from those of courtship and dating, which are taught by scriptures to the path of marriage and several related topics. So there's several bullets here. One is the authority of the father over the marriage of their virgin children, the continuing authority of the father after marriage, the importance of young, fruitful marriages, that a bad marriage is preferred over no marriage. And so this individual has, again, put retreats together to bring, for a lack of a better word, kind of grooming in the individuals, minors, with what looks like the intention of having them married. And it says right here in the article, it is quite explicitly a place for families to get together to arrange non-consenting, so they're not consenting to it, marriages between their teenage children. So we think that's a problem. The Salvation Army thinks that's a problem, and the Salvation Army has some property to which one of these retreats was to take place. I think it was a couple years back. And the Salvation Army, once they found out about Vaughn and the intentions, they canceled the retreat and said, you cannot have this retreat on our property. So then that's publicly available knowledge. Believe it or not, that's public knowledge. So how does that have anything to do with Realm and Realm Makers? So Von Oman has a nice profile here for Realm Makers. His avatar is a penguin. I went to Youngstown State, so I love penguins. That was our mascot. So that's who he is. And how is he connected? You say, well, how is he connected to Brian Davis and all these things? Well, Brian Davis has a profile in Realm as well. So you see him in the center, and then, you see this little penguin over here that is next to Brian. So they're connected, and it's just interesting that we find that. And so if we're really looking at things biblically, would we want an individual such as Vaughn to be in a group that says it's okay for minors to be involved with Realm and Realm Makers, and there are certain ages that they say that don't tell anybody your age, keep that to yourself. So we think that's also a problem. There's a TikTok on that. We'll probably be maybe doing another one. I don't know. To all that. So I just wanted to share that those linkages. And we got about a minute and a half, David.
Yeah. So we just want to pose these questions. Von Oman, Scott Miner, and there's many other predators too. Why are these people being protected? And why does Scott Miner want all the evidence and then say, well, I'm going to kick you off. You're a liar. Brian's a good guy. I know him personally. And then all of this. You need to decide, but I really am calling for new leadership in Realm Makers. I do not want to tear this place up. It's a wonderful place. But its leaders are a circus. Scott Miner dresses as Dr. Strange, who is a sorcerer. Let's go to that. A sorcerer of witchcraft at a Christian event, and you have the nerve to show up with a necklace that literally says Satan on it, calling this a Christian event. That is what you chose to dress up. I'm not making that up.
And we're showing on camera. So we have this photo here of this outfit as well, and this was posted by Shiloh. Brian is a friend and a role model in life. So you might be wondering, well, how is James Arville and Shiloh, how are they connected to Brian? Well, apparently Brian is a friend and a role model to Shiloh. So that's a pretty good link if we look at it.
And so they connect, and James Arville also is writing, he wrote a graphic novel, but he also is writing another one apparently with Brian that's coming up this summer with Tinsdale.
Okay.
So
we gotta wrap it up. Sorry.
Yep. Be aware of what Realm Makers is. Make your own decision, but know that there's more truth coming, and pray, because it is your children's lives in danger, and your children could be next.
Thank you, David. Thank you for being so transparent, coming forward. That it's incredibly hard. I can just only imagine. And so I just want to reiterate, we're sharing information. Make your decision, whether you're watching or listening. Check it out. Look into these things. Look at your children. Make sure that, right, we saw that conversation with Nick and Brian's in there. Who are they talking to online? So we might think we don't want to be a helicopter parent. Well, I would like to know if any children that I was related to were having these conversations with somebody who has been linked via fax. We saw the police report. There's just a lot. So we want to thank David for joining us, and we want to close here. Just want to say the National Human Trafficking Hotline.org is the site where if you or somebody knows been a victim or believe they've been a victim of human trafficking, which that's actually, we talked about the case number earlier that David has. That's where it's through. So you can reach out to them 24/7 at 1-888-373-7888, TTY 711. You can text star 233-733, and you can also chat. And if you or somebody you know is experiencing the thoughts of suicide or experiencing a crisis, mental health, you can reach out via website 988lifeline.org. You can also call 988. You can text 988, and then you can also chat. So bringing this to a close, I want to say a short prayer. God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.